The American Dream. Where do we even start? How did it start?
How has it changed?
When did
Is
it
it
start?
dead?
On July 4th, 1776, the Second Continental Congress, with unanimous vote, adopted the Declaration of Independence. This, in many ways, marks the beginning of the American Dream. The phrase, "all men are created equal," resonated with the new, aspiring Americans. This newfound independence and freedom was the driving factor for a new group ideal. This idea to pursue the life they chose no matter their class was the basis of what would become the American Dream. The idea of the American Dream was not only in America, but also in other countries around the world. During the Industrial Revolution, many Americans migrated to the cities for work, and many immigrants came to America to do the same, to reach the American Dream. The Industrial Revolution created many jobs and created a prosperous working class which allowed for the migration to happen. Between 1870 and 1900, about 12 million immigrants came to America, either in search of wealth or freedom. But for some, the dream was destroyed. Since so many people were fighting for jobs, those who didn't get good paying jobs were taken advantage of by industrialists, who hired the immigrants to do a lot of labor with little pay. The phrase "the American Dream" was first published by James Truslow Adams in his book, The Epic of America, published in 1931. Adams saw the American Dream as the way to one's best self and to improve from birth to death. Very little of Adams' American Dream was occupied by wealth and material possessions. In his words, it was not a dream of motor cars and high wages merely, but a dream of social order in which each man and each woman shall be able to attain to the fullest stature of which they are innately capable, and can be recognized by others for what they are, regardless of the fortuitous circumstances of birth or position. Adams was optimistic about the future of the American Dream, but also warned of its flaws. He mentions, "The worker gets onto a treadmill in which he earns, may that he not enjoy, but that he may spend, in order that the owners of the factories may grow richer." In his book, he also warns that the intellectual worker must adjust their work to the needs of mass consumerism. This, in turn, lowers the quality of their work. Just 6 years later, in 1937, Margaret Burke White photographed this telling scene. It is titled "The World's Highest Standard of Living." In it, men, women, and children are lined up in what is often thought to be an unemployment line after the flooding of the Ohio River. The poster shows what had been established as the American Dream in years prior, the nuclear family ideal. The smiles and excessive joy from the posters contrasted heavily by the reality that many in the U.S. were facing in poverty. After such incidents, the American Dream seems to subside into a fight for simple survival. After winning World War II, many American soldiers came back and had to find a home and a job. The GI Bill was passed to help the soldiers come back and find a way of living back in America. In turn, there was an economic and housing boom post-World War II, and many people were able to get jobs, which made the people think that the American Dream was achievable. One of the provisions for the GI Bill was the low-cost home for veterans, allowing them to easily have a roof over their head after the hard battle. All of this made housing a major part of the American Dream during the late 1940s and 50s. all good things must come to an end. And of course, that applies to the housing boom after World War II. Many people were spending lots of money, and this caused a huge problem. They were borrowing money only for them to not be able to pay it back. Consumer debt increased, the prices of homes were decreasing. This all led to an economic crisis that forced many into foreclosure. African Americans had it the hardest, as the United Fair Economy Organization once calculated that they were going to lose $71 to $122 billion just because of the crisis. After getting kicked out of their homes, many stopped believing in the American dream, and the government just left them. Later, the government helped the suffering Americans, but it didn't change their view on the American dream. The number of people who believed in the American dream kept decreasing because the rich got richer. Gregory Mencios found that about 89% of US stocks in 2011 were owned by the top 10% wealthiest people. So while the working class is working hard for their dream wealth, they will never be able to reach the wealthiest class. And with that, modern times. What has become of the American dream? A recent ABC News poll found that barely more than 1/4 of Americans say the American dream still holds true. This is about half as many who said so 13 years earlier. These statistics are a result of asking people about the American dream, defined as if you work hard, you'll get ahead. Another study by the Center for a New American Dream says that 78% of people considered personal freedom extremely important in their vision of the American dream. These points taken together form a picture, not of the American dream dying, but that of transformation. People no longer identify with a singular, holistic American dream, but one that is unique to each individual. The collective American dream the United States knew for centuries may have died, but that doesn't mean Americans don't dream. Sarah Churchwell, a prominent historian, says, "The American dream has always been about the prospect of success and upward mobility." It may be that, in modern times, our ideas of success have simply divided and become distinct. Critical times in the United States' life have shaped the way people dream. Starting with the adoption of the Declaration of Independence, with the dream to be independent and to have power over their destiny, generations have refined the American dream to align to their ideals. During the Industrial Revolution and World War II, people started to strive towards accumulating wealth. The housing crash of 2008 forced people to take a step back and reevaluate their priorities. In a way, the American dream has come full circle and become less about material possessions in modern years. As well as returning to its root values, the American dream seems to be individualizing and becoming more about what each person desires. Now, only one question is left. What will the American dream bring next?